everybody. Happy Monday afternoon to you. Welcome to Foul Territory. I am Alanna Rizzo, your host for the next couple of hours, alongside these two gentlemen that you know very well, Erik, Kratz, AJ Pierzynski. Scott Braun is off this week, so happy to be with you boys. Welcome to the show, everybody. Tweet us at FT Live. Don't forget you can buy merch at foulterritoryshop.com. Let's get into it. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of baseball, AJ, you were there. Let's go ahead and clear this thing up with Mr. Ken Rosenthal, who is apparently public enemy number one right now across the baseball world. You were there, AJ. What really happened?
All right, first of all, anybody that knows Ken knows that Ken is a nice guy, okay? Listen, Ken and I joke a lot on this show. We work together at Fox. We work together here. We joke a lot. We make a lot of fun of each other. But at the end of the day, I want people to understand that Ken Rosenthal is a really nice guy, and he cares about other people. So that people that think that Ken was trying to bully this guy or thinks he's better than anybody else don't know Ken very well. All right? That's the first thing. Second of all, when this happened, I saw it live, and I made fun of Ken right after the game. I didn't know it was going to turn into this viral sensation. I literally laughed at him, and I said, Ken, did you see yourself? You looked down at him like, this poor guy just got run over by a little person, okay? And look, that's like, and Ken, Ken first of all said, I apologize, I felt terrible about it, but he was also in the middle of a live interview, okay? Not that that's an excuse, but what Ken did afterwards, I know he apologized profusely to the guy and said, I'm sorry. It was a mistake. It happened. And here's my question for you. Alanna, you've done a million live interviews. Erik, you've done live stuff. Stuff happens in the middle of it. We were trying to get the shot. We had Monasterio who had just gotten the game-winning hit in a wild game, and he was doing an interview in English, which was unbelievable for him to do. And then this guy was in our shot, and we asked him repeatedly, not an excuse, we asked him to move. And then Ken didn't want to get wet. Fine, he knew it was coming. He ran into the guy. It happens. Ken's apologized. It's time to move on, people. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big thing. The guy who got hit took it and understood. We all need to just chill, okay? Just chill. It's fine. Not a big deal.
I agree. First of all, it was during a live interview, as you mentioned. It's not like Ken can go over to the guy in the middle of a live interview, AJ and Erik, and apologize to him while he's trying to interview a player on the field on live television. Ken Rosenthal does not have a mean bone in his body. Erik, Kratz, the optics looked bad, but that wasn't the whole story. Let's just put this to bed, shall we?
Yes. If anybody's going to make fun of Ken, it's going to be us. He's our Ken. We're going to make fun of him. AJ gets the most. I get a few jabs in here and there. Everybody else, stay off it. Just make sure everybody knows, like, this guy was also asked to get out of the shot a couple times. And, like, you try it. Next time you hit your head on something in your house, you bump your head, see if your reaction is like, oh, man, neat. Like, he's a live shot. He's in the game mode.
Yeah, let's put this to bed. All right, let's charge the mound, powered by MLB 9 innings. Let's get to it, guys. And the whole reason that Ken was there, of course, is because the Brewers are doing some amazing things this year. Every single milestone, first to 60 wins, first to 70 wins, first to 80, first to 90, first to clinch a postseason. Milwaukee does it in Milwaukee fashion. AJ, walking it off in the 10th. This is a pretty special team. What have you noticed by watching this club throughout the year? What's Pat Murphy doing well?
Well, Pat Murphy has a team that he loves, okay? Pat Murphy coached in college for a long time before he got into the minor leagues and before he became a big league manager. If you ever watch Pat Murphy's teams, Dustin Pedroia, Jason Kipnis know this, they played for him. They were hard-nosed, they played defense, they pitched, they bunted, they hit and ran, they stole bases, they kept pressure on the other team. That's exactly what Pat Murphy has here in the Brewers. He has a college team that nobody else plays like. That's the biggest thing. And I asked Ollie Marmol on Saturday, who was the Cardinals, I said, what do the Brewers do? He goes, it's just constant pressure. Yes, they have a couple guys that hit home runs and Yelly and Churio and Contreras when he's going well. But at the end of the day, they are constantly on base. They're constantly taking the extra base. They're constantly singling you to death. They did all of this against the Cardinals and hit 0 home runs. It was knock, stolen base, knock, good at bat, productive out. Let's get the guy over. Infield hit because we were hustling. It was unbelievable watching this game. You're like, Oh, the Cardinals kept winning. They kept going up. Oh, no, boom, hit, boom, hit, boom, hit, boom, single, and here's the hit by Monasterio. But it was just amazing to watch. This is, I hate to say old school baseball, but this is kind of old school baseball where they just single you to death. They steal bases. They bunt. They know their job. Oh, there's a runner on third. I think Contreras had 3 sac flies in this game to center field. Like, that's how the way baseball is meant to be played. There's many ways to play baseball, and the Brewers are the only ones that do it this way now, and that's why they're so tough.
And it works for them. And you know what, Erik, they haven't won a postseason series since reaching Game 7 of the NL Championship Series in 2018, but they're in the postseason, Kratz, every single year. Why can this team be different? Why can they go further?
Because they do have what AJ said they don't need is the power. They do have guys that are driving the ball out of the ballpark leading up to the playoffs here, leading up to from the second half on. Bryce Terang, Yelly is the clear leader of this team, and he wants to play every single day. And I think that permeates the rest of the guys, and the rest of the young guys in the locker room don't ever take days off or at-bats off, because that's the leadership that he shows. But Bryce Terang is a guy that has really, I mean, the amount of home runs he's hit since, I think it's even since the start of August, not just July, he has been on a tear where you're not sure if it's okay to try to get ahead of this guy. And when you add that to the lineup, you add in a guy like Rhys Hoskins, who clearly shows this lineup has depth if he's not playing that much, if he's coming back from the IL and he's kind of more of a bench role. It's a deeper lineup. I was on that 18 team, and we played the exact same way. We fell short. We fell short in Game 7. I feel like this team has, because they always do, they have enough pitching. If somebody can step in McGill's absence to consistently close games out, and then have Uribe's spot in the 8th inning filled in, like, guys have to fill in. But I think this team has a different look, a different feel in their lineup than they did the other years when they fell short.
Let me ask you guys this question. I want an answer from both of you. All 30 teams, there's not a standout team this year, right? There's not a team that is by and large a runaway team to get to the World Series and win it. Every team has its holes. So AJ, we'll start with you. What are the holes of the Brewers?
Well, McGill's out. They don't know who their closer is. Uribe pitched Saturday. He hadn't pitched for a week. He's got something going on. I don't know what it is, but he missed a week before Saturday, came in and pitched on Saturday. So their bullpen, to me, has been good, but without that lockdown closer, and if it's Uribe, that weakens their other spots a little bit. So we'll see. And then what they do with Miz is a big thing. What are they going to do with Mizorowski? Is he going to be a starter? Is he going to be in the bullpen? Is he even going to be on the roster? And then I also think, I know I just pumped them up for being this type of team, but not hitting home runs. In this, do they have guys that can hit home runs? Yes. But do they hit home runs to the way the Dodgers, the Yankees, even the Blue Jays, and some of these other teams can? Well, we'll go in the National League. The way the Phillies can, the way the Dodgers can, that's their thing. Can they score enough runs? Can they figure out a way? Because I'll say this, teams in the postseason prepare for you differently than they do a 3-game series in the middle of July. It's just a thing. They will practice bunt defense. They'll practice first and third. They'll practice defending the steal. Guys will sidestep. Guys will do different things. So can they score enough runs? To me, it's can they score enough runs, and what do they do with the bullpen and Miz?
EK?
Yeah. I mean, I think we look back at 2023. People ask, is this type of offense going to play in the postseason? 2023, the Diamondbacks were that team, that type of team going into it. What did they do? How did they beat the Dodgers beat the Dodgers and beat the Brewers? They hit dingers. That's how, I know I don't want to say, well, you got to hit dingers to win the World Series or to make it to the World Series. I think that's the reality of it. You have to figure out how to hit dingers, and I think that's the difference, is they have guys who will be able to drive the ball out of the ballpark. Ultimately, it's who gets hot. Ultimately, all that is fine and dandy, but they figure out how to win games. And I think that is the difference in teams who lose in Game 5 of the division series or lose in Game 7 is to win those games, you have to figure out how to get something around the edges. You might not get to, let's see, who are they going to draw in the first round? They're going to either get the Cubs as of now, the Cubs, or it wouldn't be the Mets or Dodgers. It would be the Padres. How do you scratch runs out against their bullpen? Well, you know what? You might not. So you might have to scratch runs out against Yu Darvish, Dylan Cease, Nick Pivetta. Like, that's what they're learning throughout this season, is how to win ball games, not how to hit home runs.
Let me ask you guys this. The Philadelphia Phillies have also clinched a postseason spot. They're the second team right behind the Brewers. However, they have not clinched the NL East yet. Of course, the Central belongs to Milwaukee. How important is it, you guys, in terms of seeding? And how important is it, AJ, for Philadelphia to clinch the East?
Well, I think right now the Phillies are thinking about more than just the East. I mean, they've won the East. The East is over. Okay,
Sure.
Let's get that. They want the 1 seed. I don't think there's one team that has a bigger home field advantage than the Phillies. Agreed. I think the Brewers are a close second, meaning the Brewers want home field throughout the whole way, and I think it would mean more to them. But to me, the Phillies want the 1 seed. I think they're 1 game behind the Brewers right now for the first seed. That's what they want. Like the East is done. The East was done. The East has been done. Okay, when they swept the Mets again, the East is done. And the Mets are out of the East. They're hoping to hang on to a wild card. But to me, the 2 teams that need home field more than any are the Phillies. But to me, the Brewers are the 2 that need the home field, and that's what they're fighting for. They're both going to get the bye. They're both going to get the bye, but home field is important to those 2.
Erik, Philly's playing Los Angeles next in terms of the series. They have a chance to clinch it there. Do they do it? You think they do it in LA?
Yeah, I think it's it's 1 game. I think they have to win because they could have clinched it at home, and they were leading the game and then gave up 6 in the 5th or 6th inning yesterday. But yes, I completely agree. The Phillies have 51 wins at home. The Brewers have 48 wins at home. Dodgers have 48 wins at home also. But that is a huge home road split, and playing at Citizens Park for the Phillies has been a house of horrors for teams. In the last 2 seasons, they have over 100. I think they have 102 wins now. I think they won 2 this weekend. 102 or 103 wins in the last 2 seasons at home is crazy. So yes, you want to play because you won't play the Brewers until a 7-game series. You would much rather play 4 games at home than 3 games at home. People say it's just 1 game. Whew. It's a big difference when you get 2 at home right away, and then you got to go to someone else's place and play 3. It's a big advantage.
Yeah, it's insane that last week it seemed like it was only a 2-horse race in the National League wild card. Now it seems like a 4-team frenzy. Things are getting very interesting, gentlemen, with 2 weeks left in the regular season. All right, Geoff Blum is coming up. He is a broadcaster for the Houston Astros. We're talking Astros next. Coming up, get MLB 9 Innings 25, a baseball game in the palm of your hands. Mike Trout's favorite game, of course. Play alongside icons like Derek Jeter, Joe DiMaggio, Satchel Paige, and more. Write your history with all-time greats and lead your team to victory. We'll be right back after this.
I'll take it easy on you guys. Whatever.
Hey, Mike, you might want to back up.
Nah, bro, I'm good right here.
Yeah, you got no chance of getting it out of the infield anyway.
Last time you gave me something to hit, I took you deep. Come on in here.
What was that? That's not fair. I wasn't even ready.
Save it, Junior.
That's terrible.
Hey, Mad Dog, give me something to hit.
FT fam, let's talk about Fair Harbor. And if you're listening, I hope that you watch this conversation at some point because we're doing show and tell, Kratz. Shorts, they can be used as a bathing suit. And the liner, which we call butter, is the game breaker. It's the playmaker because it's different.
You've worn shorts that are not like this, and the liner sucks. They are buttery on your butt.
I just came up with something for them. Your liner sucks. Get Fair Harbor liner. Seriously, give it a shot. I'm not just saying this. The butter analogy plays. And FT fam, you know we're hooking you up. FairHarborClothing.com/foul. 20% off when you use the code FOUL on your first purchase. Once again, that's FairHarborClothing.com/FOUL for 20% off your first purchase and use promo code FOUL.
I got a letter today from Uecker, and before we toast, I want to read it. Thanks, Mark. Thought it was fitting. The last time that we celebrated, Uecker was with us. Howdy, boys. Never a doubt you would get this invitation. You did it by believing. Really miss you guys, and I wish I was there. Things are good. The God Almighty picked me to be on his team up here, albeit I'm the third catcher. It's a great league. No day games after night games. No shadows. But you got all the sticky you need to have up here. Told the big guy about you guys. You play hard every night. You're not afraid to play for each other. He's obviously very interested in the group with this uncommon goodness. The fact that you have the best record in baseball, the best road record in baseball, has caught his attention. You don't really need me. I know you guys really don't need me, but I've got to tell you, I'll be on the headset every night watching. And don't forget to take it all in, enjoy it, keep it light, and believe in each other. Bob Uecker. So let's toast to him and to our team, what we've achieved so far. Hey, hey.
Blum, great guy, Houston Astros broadcaster, just a good person, 14-year MLB veteran, World Series champion, and nice enough to be with us on Foul Territory today. Blum, I tell you what, every year that I try to say the Astros are in some sort of rebuild or reboot or whatever the heck you want to call it, here they are battling, jockeying for position again atop the AL West. What has been your biggest takeaway of what this team has accomplished this year with a lot of missing pieces, a lot of injuries, and just a lot of unknown? Welcome to the show.
Good to be on the show. Always appreciate the opportunity, seeing some friendly faces, and I'm glad I got the memo about the backwards hat, so I'm ready to go. You know, the old saying, or I guess it's a new old saying, is the Astros are inevitable. And this year is truly a tale of organizational depth and maybe a little bit of culture involved because, like you said, a lot of teams around the league have dealt with a lot of injuries, and not just injuries that are going to keep guys out on a 15-day IL, and they'll be back and mix right in. These have been catastrophic injuries that these teams have had to try and fix and replace and continue, and the Astros have done a very good job. I know that every year we start out the season with prospect lists and who has the best minor league system, and the Astros are continually at the bottom. Yet this season, they have filled their rotation with a couple of rookies, throughout the course of the season. They're going to ride a guy tonight in Jason Alexander here in Houston for another start who's been brilliant for the Astros with his fastball changeup mix. The other day, we just saw a guy named Zach Cole, who was number 18 in the organization as far as prospects, and he pops a home run on the first pitch he sees. So I think it's just a credit to the ability to draft, but also the ability to develop. I don't think a lot of these minor league coaches these days get enough attention or enough love because they're kind of, tucked underneath the rug of every organization, but they have a huge impact on what these guys do at the big league level. And the Astros fortunately have created this dynamic where if you get to the big leagues, the expectation is you're going to mix into this clubhouse. And if you're helping us win, you're going to stick. If you're not stirring the pot the right way, we're going to get rid of you and find somebody else. But they've been very fortunate with some of the guys they've called up.
All right. Well, who's going to step in for the holes that they're currently missing? Because now it's nut cutting time. I get it. Like, you can't win because you won the last 7. Like, this last 7 years doesn't have anything to do with this last 2 weeks of the season. Do they have enough to step in for the Josh Hader hole? To step in for the fact that They don't have an Alex Bregman who has been that winning clutch player. I know Correa's back, but do they have enough to win the division, or do they not even need to win the division? Because we're not going to talk about the wild card yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting question. Basically, do they have enough to get in the playoffs? And I think they do. And you brought up some key names there. I know losing Bregman is a big piece, and obviously he's enhanced what the Boston Red Sox have been able to do both internally and on the field. You know, he's a great mind, sees the game a little bit differently. And then you mentioned Carlos Correa. He's kind of come in and really kind of filled that void of what the Astros were missing as far as leadership in the vocal sense. He will pull guys off the side and say, hey, we need more of this, or hey, you did a great job. Continue to do that. They've got Yordan Alvarez, who's kind of the silent, spoken guy that can go into that lineup and do some damage. You can follow his lead a little bit. Jeremy Pena's turned into a force on offense. So they've got some key pieces and key situations to be able to go out there and compete. For me, down the stretch, it's going to be the Astros offense. I think they do have enough pitching. The starting pitching has done a great job. They're top 10 as far as team ERA. They get a ton of swing and miss still, even with Josh Hader not in the back end of that bullpen. So for me, it's going to be on the offense. Their record is something astonishing, around 85% win, probability when they score 4 runs. So that's kind of the threshold I feel they need to get to. But I'm with you in the sense that when Josh Hader went down, not just with a shoulder injury, but with something that was going to keep him out the entire regular season, I had a little trepidation in the thought that he wasn't going to be at the back end of that bullpen, because Brian Abreu has been such a phenomenal setup guy, and Brian King, Steven Okert were great matchup guys getting to the back end of the bullpen. Now you're forcing some of these guys who aren't usually leverage guys into situations where you're going to almost force Josh Miller and Joe Espada to be very creative on what pockets they work those guys into.
Blummer, I know you're talking offense, but who's pitching? Alexander's pitching tonight, and then who? It's TBD. So you're talking about all this great pitching. Who's pitching? Because the Rangers lined up their 3 best, really, with Evaldi out. I mean, they're going lighter, Merrill Kelly and DeGrom for the last one. And then you got Seattle coming in. So who's pitching? You keep talking about offense, but who's going to pitch the next couple games?
Yeah, that's going to be a problem the next couple of days. It may be, you can almost get the sense that the Astros fear the Seattle Mariners more than they fear the Texas Rangers. I know that the Rangers are leading the series, I believe, 6-4, but the run differential, I think, is at a flat line 0. They've scored as many as they've given up. Adolis Garcia's coming back. We still haven't seen Simeon and Seager, and credit to the Rangers for finding guys like Hellman and Freeman and some of these other guys. Josh Smith doing a good job stepping in and scoring runs. They're getting timely hitting at the right time, but who's going to stop them? Jason Alexander hasn't faced him yet. He's been very good after losses for the Astros, amazingly enough. And he's pretty predictable as far as he's going to come at you with a 2-seam fastball and a changeup. He's not afraid to throw it to righties or lefties, so it's going to be up to the Rangers to adjust to that quickly. But like you said, once you get past that, is it going to be a bullpen day on that last day? Is it going to be a guy like AJ Blubaugh, who's looked brilliant in the last maybe 4 or 5 outings coming out of the bullpen? He's gone 1 inning, he's gone 2 innings, he's gone 4 innings at a time. He's a guy that's kind of been lengthened out a little bit, or do they piggyback? And it's kind of a tough spot when you're going down the stretch trying to, get back into the American League West division lead. But they really saved up their big dogs in Hunter Brown and Framber Valdez for the Seattle Mariners. You're right.
Blummer, I mean, I know it sounds a little bit obvious, but if the Astros sweep the series, they go up 5 games. If the Astros get swept, they fall behind the Rangers by 1 game. I mean, is this let's circle this thing? I mean, what are the conversations going on in the dugout, in the clubhouse? I know everyone says 1 game at a time, blah, blah, blah. This is not 1 game at a time, my friend. This is big.
It's huge, and it's kind of crazy to think that everything comes down to this homestand for the Astros, where they played very well. The Seattle Mariners pitching rotation has been roughed up on the road. You kind of hope these trends kind of continue themselves, but I'm with you in the sense that you kind of throw everything out the window, because they're 5-5 against the Mariners throughout the course of the season. So this goes big in a head-to-head matchup. If they're both the 3 and 6 seeds, who's going to host that wild card division series potentially? And then you have the Texas Rangers, who are just trying to fight their way into this postseason, and this is a huge series for them. They lead the Astros 4 overall coming into this series. But it's still amazing to me that we can play a 162 game schedule, and we're set to play game 151 to 157, and it's all basically going to come down to these next 6 games for all 3 of these teams to see who wins the West and who potentially becomes that wild card, because the Astros are that 3rd wild card. And I think the reality is kind of set in a little bit. It will be interesting to get to the ballpark today and see the reaction of these guys and see the intensity of the pregame workout as they get ready for this series against the Rangers. But yeah, they can sit there and say, and there's 3 of us that have been on this broadcast that have been in that dugout in playoff contending type situations where you say all the right things to the public, but internally, you can feel that hair on the back of your neck kind of jump a little bit, or you can feel that twitchiness a little bit. But I'm sure that's going on in the Astros dugout because everything is very real for the next 6 games.
By the way, I got to go back. How important is it for the Astros to have home field? Because all I've heard for about the last 5 years is we can't hit in Houston. The batter's eye sucks and this and that. So now all of a sudden you love Houston? Like, wait, I thought all the Astros guys hated playing there. Now they love it. Wait, clear it up for me, please, Blummer.
I wish I could.
They fixed the batter's eye though. They painted like that little section, right? So now it's better.
Yeah, they keep creeping over. Eventually, that entire section is going to be green, but they keep pushing that Budweiser sign out of the way. Yeah, they keep expanding that, trying to compete with. There are issues with the batter's eye. The lights are a little bit lower in Dyken Park. The sound is incredibly loud, which favors them. I think they enjoy the fan base that shows out for them year after year after year. So there is some pleasure in playing at home, knowing that you've got the fan base behind you. But there are certain things that you've got to overcome when you come into Dyken Park. I know a lot of guys adjust by going out early, taking batting practice. But at the same time, the Astros have been very good on the road, too, considering how some of the other teams have played. The Astros are actually a game or 2, I believe, over 500 on the road. But in theory, playing at home is always better, but I'm not sure that, that carries a lot of weight, because I think, and this is literally just off the top of my head, because since the All-Star break, I think at home the Astros have been sub 500, and I think they've been outscored at home. So I'm not sure that that's a paramount idea, but at the same time, if you finish a season playing 6 games, 7 days on the road, and then you've got to travel to Seattle, play on the road, try and win that series, and then eventually end up on the road again. It kind of piles up a little bit. But I think these 2 teams are probably just trying to find their way into the playoffs and worry about the home field advantage later.
What do you believe in the hypothetical that Isaac Paredes does return? Because if he's hitting and saying there's a chance he could play, he could DH at the end of this week, Saturday, Sunday-ish, he's got a DH at a slower level. Then you got to put Jordan in left and put Altuve back at second, which they've been trying to not do.
No, that's one of the craziest things, because when Isaac went on the injured list, everybody kind of dropped their shoulders a little bit and said, man, believe it or not, they felt like they lost one of their best hitters in the lineup. And there were plenty of games where Isaac Paredes was in the lineup. A pitcher was getting knocked out of the game in the 4th or 5th inning with 100 pitches, and you look at the line, and Isaac had seen literally a third of the pitches for the team, and that's what he kind of brings to this ball club, is that patience, the zone control, everything that these modern-day hitting coaches like to hear. He could pop a couple into left field through the Crawford box. I think he's perfected that 98-mile-an-hour swing with the perfect launch angle to get it 370 feet into the Crawford boxes. But his ability to lengthen out at bats protects guys like Altuve, who can go out there and swing at the first pitch and you don't panic because Isaac just saw 9 pitches. It allows Jeremy Pena to lead off a game and swing at the first fastball he sees because he wants to be aggressive on the heater early, because behind him you're going to see Isaac seeing 9 pitches. So it kind of lengthens out the lineup in that sense. So he's a nice addition to the lineup, but you're exactly right about what it does defensively for Joe Espada is it forces his hand to put Yordan Alvarez out in left field at home, preferably with Hunter Brown or Framber Valdez on the mound, because those are heavy ground ball type pitchers. But then you have to put Jose Altuve at second base, and you've got to run the risk of, him being out there with a heavy ground ball percentage guy on the mound. So you're going to have to manipulate that lineup a little bit. I know that once he gets here to Dyken Park, talking to Tony Perez Chica, who's a third base coach and infield guy, He is going to be working him out at third base. He's going to be working him out at second base. And believe it or not, he's going to be working him out at first base in certain situations. So they're trying to create the versatility. But I'm with you. I mean, that was a pretty heavy strain on the hamstring, and it's a lot to ask him to go play defense.
He's like the Max Muncy of the Astros. Max comes back,
Exactly.
They start hitting. You get that's a big piece. All right, last question for me, and I'm only giving you 2 options, so you can't pick the third. Better chance of the Astros missing the playoffs or winning the division?
Oh man, you had to go top to bottom, didn't you? I'm saying that they can win it. Just this American League West for me, having watched it all season long, it's not that good. I don't think it's the best division in baseball. I don't think it's the best division in the American League. I still think it's up there for the taking. I'm a little concerned about the Seattle Mariners pitching on the road. Their numbers haven't been very good, especially in that last road trip where the Astros kind of tried to create a little separation. But I think that there's more likely a chance the Astros actually pull it off and sneak in as the division winner.
I'd be shocked if the Houston Astros missed the postseason. I mean, that just doesn't happen. Let me ask you this.
That would cause heart palpitations, to be honest with you. I'm with you. That would, I mean,
honestly,
I know
that would be
a paycheck. I'm getting a paycheck from them, and I've got to cheer for them. But yeah, it would cause some serious palpitations. If they
I agree with you. That would just send shockwaves throughout the baseball landscape. Let me ask you one quick question again, Blummer, about Josh Hader. When he's not on your team, he's the guy that seems like he's easy to hate, but I don't think we give him enough love with what he does in the community. The Roberto Clemente Award nominee. I don't know that there's an award in baseball that is more of an honor to get than the Roberto Clemente Award. He is the Houston Astros nominee. Tell me what he does in the community, what he means to this club.
I think it's great that these guys actually get recognized, especially around the league, because, you know, we follow our team specifically and we have an idea of what's going on. But for them to get recognized nationally through Major League Baseball with this great award in honor of Roberto Clemente and all of the charity and efforts that he put into it, I think it's great that these guys get the notoriety. And Josh Hader, you know, I didn't find out what he was doing in San Diego and some of the other teams he was with until he became an Astro and started doing it in the community here with the Astros. He's got a great firm foundation on with his feet on the ground in the community. And I think as soon as he signed that contract, he started a foundation here, and he has been working with, I believe it's Covenant House, doing a great job helping out families and underprivileged kids, and some of the abuse that goes on in some of these families, and he's protecting these kids, he's protecting these families. He has done phenomenal work, and throughout the course of the season, when he was playing, he was having galas, wine dinners. He was recruiting people and funding and doing a lot of things behind the scenes. And now, since he's been on the injured list, he hasn't hesitated a bit. He's actually probably continued to work a little bit harder behind the scenes. But he's a phenomenal dude. If you get a chance to know Josh Hader, get a chance to know him, because he is salt of the earth and he's got an electric left arm.
Blummer, before you go, there's 2 things I got to say. One, the Astros will make the playoffs because Fox has the American League, and there would not be a playoffs without me doing the Astros and the DS. So I will be in Houston one way or the other. They'll be in the ALDS. It's just how it works. It's like it's inevitable. It's like one of those things that just happened. Even the one year during COVID, the Braves and the Marlins played in Houston. I'm like, we have the National League. I'm still going to Houston. So I'll be in Houston. Don't worry. They'll be there. Maybe you'll come say hi. Probably not, because you never come around when the Astros are in town. I get it. It's your time off. But before I let you go, I got to know this. I know you have the H-Town shirt and you're paid by the Astros, but is there even like a little bit of love for the White Sox in your heart? I mean, it is the one team you did win with, and you did hit a big home run against the Astros in Minute Maid. The one swing you got was that one home run.
Dude, you know as well as I do that I have a certain loyalty, and granted, it may have a little bit to do with the paycheck. I spent a majority of my career with the Houston Astros. And what a lot of Astro fans don't know is that home run with the White Sox was payback for trading me to Tampa Bay and making me put up the Lou Piniella for a full season. So that being said, yes, I cheer for the Astros, and I'm glad they're on this run that they're on, but there will never, ever, there will be nothing that is able to pull that chunk of my White Sox heart out of me because of the time that we spent together And the time that we actually put that team together, which was a special time, winning that World Series will never leave me. I mean, if we were able to zoom in on some of this stuff behind me, I forced White Sox paraphernalia into this. My daughters still have their jerseys. So there is a very special place in my heart. It's just unfortunate that I can't let it out as often as maybe as I want to. But
That's fair.
There's two questions I get when having worked for the Astros now, having done that to them in that 05 World Series, is like, how did you endear yourself to the fans? And I say it's a lot of work, and obviously the Astros winning changes things. The other one is, what kind of guy is AJ like?
That's fine. That's fine. But do you remember? Do you have any memory of what you said after you hit the home run? Do you remember this? I've never really asked you this. Do you remember what you said to me? Because remember in Houston they always played the Bees, and you were a killer bee for a while. Do you remember what you said to me after you hit the home run? You probably don't because you were so excited.
I was so excited, but I have a feeling it has something to do with the spread because I was starving by the end of it.
No, you actually said, "Can they stop playing that buzzing sound now because a killer bee just stung them?" Or it was something like that.
Oh,
and I was like, yes, because all they did between every at bat, when Bagwell, Biggio, Blum came up, it was bzzz.
Yep.
I was like,
do you remember what you did to my locker the day we showed up? So we get in there for the workout, and I don't know how you found it, but they had these placards, like they had these big. They were not big posters, but they were almost poster size, and they had the Killer Bees World Series 05 and all this, and you plastered my locker with them.
You were a killer bee. We didn't know what side you were on until you took that swing. We didn't know which side you were on. We were debating. We had a long talk with Ozzy about whether you should have been on the roster. Kenny and Ozzy and I, we had a long talk. We're like, reasons. Where's his loyalties at?
I think we found out.
Yes, we did. Thank you. Thank God I was on your side.
I love the conversations, and that's why we love having former players on it too. The Killer Bees: Bagwell, Biggio, Berkman, Blummer. There you have it. Those are the Killer Bees. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, Blummer. Good luck. You can follow Geoff, of course, everything all Astros going on X, if you will. What are you, Blummer? You're at Blummer40. Wait, hang on. Let me find it on here.
Blummer27.
At Blummer27. At Blummer27. All right, Geoff, good luck to the Astros. There's no way they're not making the postseason. We appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for being with us on Foul Territory. Coming up next, much more Better Than Box Scores. We'll be right back.
Hey, if you're a card collector or you're looking to collect, buy, sell, trade, Arena Club's the spot. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the old process, AJ, was very clunky. Buy a box, rip the pack, tons of commons, send it in for grading. And then finally, you get everything back. This is weeks and weeks, and you can start to try and sell the card. We have eliminated that with Arena Club, or they have. I act like I'm part of it, but in really one step.
Arena's your one-stop shop for everything. You get a card, you open a slab pack, the card is there, it's graded, it spins around coolly, shows you 3D, the front, the back, you can look at the corners, you can look at everything, and then you get a decision. Do I want to keep it? Do I want to sell it? Do I want to trade it? It gives you an instant offer. You can buy it back and re-rip another slab pack and try for something else, or you can keep it and hope the value goes up and sell it at a later date. It is truly the best spot to get cards.
20% off your first slab pack or card purchase can be had right now at arenaclub.com/FOUL and use code FOUL.
All right, I wanted to get your opinion really quick on the letter, guys, that Pat Murphy read out loud to his Brewers team after they clinched from Bob Uecker. Emotional, but also funny, AJ, much to Uecker's personality.
Yeah, it was perfect by Uecker. The fact that he wrote this before basically the season started and now Murph gets to read it. You have to understand one thing about Murph. Murph is very sentimental and very emotional, even though he comes across as this stoic, tough guy. So to have to read this, it had to be tough to get through because we all know what Uecker means to the Brewers organization, and especially the players that have been around. Yelich, Freddie Peralta, these guys that have been through the Brewers for a long time. It was special. If it didn't bring a tear to your eye when you first saw that, then I don't know what you got to get emotional.
The unique connection that Uecker has with the players there that I don't think if I ever played there, I would have been like, really? Like, is there really that connection? But then you met him, you met Bob Uecker, and you were like, wow, this is amazing. It's something that I questioned when I listened to Murph read it the first time. I questioned, could this happen in every market? Would this be the storyline that the Dodgers, the Red Sox, the Yankees, that they would all read? Or is it because the uniqueness of Milwaukee and the togetherness of that team that they're able to show this storyline? I don't know, but I know there's something special there from playing there, but also from watching this team now this year.
It's incredible. It's what, Bob Uecker to the Brewers is what Vin Scully is to the Dodgers. We'll be right back. All right, time now for Better Than Box Scores. Let's talk a little bit about the Toronto Blue Jays, boys. Toronto has a 4-game lead over the New York Yankees, a 5.5-game lead over Boston. Are they for real? Are you believing this?
Over.
Yeah, 100%.
AL East is over.
You think so? 2 weeks left, it's over. Why do you say that? Why are you so confident in that?
Because I haven't seen the blips from the Blue Jays. They've kind of like ironed out a little bit of that bullpen issue that they had. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying they're a perfect team because, as we've said throughout the entire show, it's not a perfect team. But the two teams chasing them, I don't think have enough in them, especially Boston without Anthony, and the Yankees without their bullpen being locked down like you would think they would when you see the names. I just don't think there's enough to catch this team because they have something that none of the teams we've talked about have. Starting pitching night in and night out that you're like, this guy could go 7. He could go 6. He could give him another quality start. They have it in droves. They put Erik Lauer, who was giving them quality starts night in and night out, into the bullpen.
Isn't that crazy, AJ, what Erik just said, that they've ironed out the blips? I feel like every year at this point of the season, Toronto implodes in some way. This seems like the most complete Toronto Blue Jays team we've seen in some time. Is that fair?
Absolutely. Their pitching is great. Their offense and defense have been really good. Their bullpen, there are some blips in the bullpen, but we'll see what happens with them. But I know this, the American League is going to have to go through Toronto. You're going to have to go to Toronto and win games, and that is not the easiest place on earth to go to win. It gets loud. It gets crazy. We saw it back when they were good in 2015 with the bat flip and all that stuff. When the place gets rocking, it is not an easy place for them to go. So I think this team has a great opportunity to not only obviously win the East. The East is over. They're 4 games up with, 11 to play. They should have that locked down. And then also represent the American League in the World Series, just because everyone has to come to Toronto. And everyone says, oh, this and that. Everyone still doesn't understand how good Toronto can be when that country and that stadium gets behind them. They are incredible. It is loud. If the roof is closed, holy cow, it is so loud in that place. And they play great at home. So I think they're in a great spot, I think, not only to win the East, but to win the American League.
This is funny, too, because John Schneider was saying that Don Mattingly, remarked that how much of the Blue Jays appear to be enjoying the run. What I mean by that is it's like the Sandlot. Mattingly told Schneider, these guys are just out playing baseball and having fun. You guys have been in this game for a very long time. It's one thing when you're winning. It's another thing entirely when you're winning and you're having a really good time doing it. How much does that play into the success that they're having, EK?
I mean, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Were they stressed when they traded for Louis Varland and he was not pitching like the guy that they thought, oh no, this is bad. Yimi Garcia was supposed to be coming back during that time. He's down. He's not coming back. Jeff Hoffman, are they happy and having fun when things are going bad? That would be my question. And to say, oh, they're happy and having fun now, you have to embody that at all times. And that's why some teams get complacent when they have a 4.5-game lead, because they're like, you know what? Hey, we lose this game, so what? You have to take that enjoyment and embodiment of Sandlot baseball all the way into the postseason. When you are going to the ballpark at 12 o'clock and people are already outside of the stadium in Toronto, it feels like the people are on top of you, and it's a different environment. Can they keep that same Sandlot environment? Yes, I think so, because of the guys that they have at the top. They have a veteran in George Springer, and they have two still young guys who know what it's like to not win in Toronto, in Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Everybody else that's there, because Santander's really not a big piece right now. He might be down the stretch here, but everybody else is kind of filling in, earning their spot. They're enjoying it. They don't know the angst of 2023 when they brought in Kikuchi out of the bullpen, or was it Kikuchi or was it Ryu? Anyway, whoever it was, they pulled him too early. They don't know the angst of that. So yeah, they're having fun. They have to keep this fun once they make the playoffs.
It's a great team. It's been a lot of fun to watch. We had Dan Shulman on the show the last time I was hosting, and the energy is there. It's almost like the energy when the Red Sox were playing really well in Fenway. That's what Toronto and Rogers Center has been like all season long. All right, guys, we have FP Santangelo coming up on the show. We will be right back right after this.
Kratz, I'm going to steal a line right from the top here about MeUndies. A cut for every butt. I took a line that I feel like you would enjoy, but then you stole my thunder with show and tell. What do you have there?
Besides a huge Baduka dunk, this is my pair of MeUndies that I got. I'm not going to show you the other pair right now because I got them on, but it doesn't even feel like you have them on. Super soft, flexible, and yet holding everything together.
I love the 20 different styles, 100 different colors and prints, and the micro-modal fabric is what you're talking about. Breathable, stretchy, unbelievably cozy. And right now, as a listener of FT, you can get cozy and spooky for less with deals up to 50% off at MeUndies.com/foul and enter promo code FOUL. That's MeUndies.com/foul, promo code FOUL for up to 50% off. MeUndies. Comfort that's made for fall.
Guys, I want your take on this. Bill Plunkett, who writes for the Orange County Register, covers the Dodgers. Tanner Scott saying this: I don't know if I'm tipping or what, but they're on everything. It sucks. It was a fastball above the zone. Maybe I'm tipping. I have no friggin' clue right now. It's terrible. I'm having the worst year of my life. I got to be better, obviously, giving up a lot of runs this year, the closer of the Los Angeles Dodgers. I mean, it stinks. You feel badly for the guy. Obviously, he signed a big contract, not getting the job done. AJ, what is he doing? Is he tipping? What's going on with him?
He's getting hit. This is why relievers are so volatile. Because one year they're the best reliever you've ever seen, and the next year they're making mistakes and guys aren't missing them in the zone. And when you're the closer, everything gets magnified in the ninth inning. They're the three hardest outs in baseball. I don't care what anyone says. Going from the eighth to the ninth is the biggest jump in baseball relieving, because the bouts, people pay more attention to those last three outs in the eighth. And they all add up to the same, but for some reason those three outs of the ninth are harder. So is he doing anything different? When I watch him, he looks like he's just missing location. He's throwing a lot more strikes in the middle of the plate, and teams are ready for it. When you're really a two-pitch guy, you got to be perfect, and he hasn't been perfect.
I would say something almost what AJ said. He's not walking enough guys. I know that's crazy, but he has his career low walk percentage. Maybe he needs to go out of the zone with that slider or higher than high with the heater.
Dodgers have a closer problem, guys.
Shohei.
I don't think Shohei is the answer for the Dodgers as the closer. FP Santangelo, what up? You can find him on X on Fight and Hydrant. We appreciate you being on. Proud father of two, proud son of two, San Francisco Giants broadcaster at KNBR Radio, the show host. It's great to have you here. I don't know if I can handle all the San Francisco Giant stuff that you've got going on, FP, but I love you. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this. How are you, man? What a wild ride it has been for the San Francisco Giants. What's been the greatest thing that you've noticed this year?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, you guys. It's really cool to be on with you guys always. And yeah, I'm not a homer as a broadcaster at all, as you can tell by the attire. I mean, I'm into it. We're all into it in San Francisco right now. Like the last two games against the Dodgers were kind of a buzzkill, but you're not going to win every game the rest of the year. You're not going to run the table. There's still a game and a half out of that last wild card spot. So now you go to Arizona and get to work today, and then how they've turned it around. You guys have all been there and been in the clubhouse where they just all of a sudden, they weren't having fun playing baseball. You walk in every day and it's kind of, stagnant a little bit. You're losing a lot. Then all of a sudden you have a good series against the Brewers in Milwaukee, who had the best home record in baseball at the time. You take 2 out of 3 there. Then you come home and sweep the Cubs. And all of a sudden you're starting to think we can do this. And, the big guys, Rafi and Willie Adames and Matt Chapman are hitting. And then you sprinkle in the psychopath in right field, Drew Gilbert, who's added this total college atmosphere to the clubhouse. And, hats off. You guys know when you're a veteran and you got some crazy kid come in, a lot of times back in the old days, it was be seen and not heard. But they've embraced this guy, the veterans, and you've seen all the antics in the dugout, but he's playing well too. So that holds a lot of credibility to what he's doing. So you just talk about the energy they have. And you're hoping they've been resilient all year, and they lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers, and they got spanked Saturday and they got spanked yesterday. But hopefully, with the resiliency they've had this year, they're on the plane, they're in Arizona, and with Bryce Eldridge coming up today, you never know what's going to happen.
You talk about all the different storylines and everything, but obviously the Dodgers scored a lot of runs against them in those last 2 games this series. My thing is, Webb gave up 6 runs. Ray gave up 5 runs. 2 guys, we talk about all the time here. Your closer comes in when you're winning and gives up the lead and you lose. How deflating that is. When your 2 come in and do that against the team, not even talking about Dodgers-Giants rivalry here, just talking about the fact that when those 2 guys, when they're on the hill, you're like, we're going to 100% win one of these 2 and we're going to take this series. How deflating was that for you and your positive vibes?
I mean, we're obviously expecting, Friday night was sick, you guys. The atmosphere at the ballpark was insane. 40,000 people. It's been a lot of Dodger fans at Oracle Park in the past, but the Giants fans showed up and they showed out when we were just hoping for Patrick Bailey to hit a sac fly. And as soon as it left his bat, you knew the game was over. No idea it was going to be a walk-off grand slam. So you score 4 off Kershaw, first inning, game 2, and you're thinking, Logan Webb on the mound, we got this. But you guys would know, I want to defer to the catchers. When guys start to get toward 30 starts a year, did you see a difference in some of the aces stuff late in the season? Was it flatter? Were they tired? Because I'm just a position player. I wasn't in the squat behind there. Did you notice a difference in some guys' stuff in their later starts? Because you're thinking adrenaline will take you right now with that atmosphere I'm talking about. But that Dodger lineup, they don't swing at balls. They swing at strikes. They make you work. They make you grind. And if you put free base runners on, which Logan Webb did, which Robbie Ray did, that team's going to eat you up. But I don't know. Guys never like to hear they're tired. Like if you say that on the air, they're like, I'm not tired. I'm fine. But did you guys ever see starters late in the season get tired?
Starters, yes. Aces, no. That was one of the traits. Maybe AJ has a different answer to it. That was one of the traits where it almost looked like whether they were tired or not, they were going on cruise control and they were soaring into the end of the season. And that's when I think about an ace, not a number 1, an ace.
Yeah, obviously you have to turn the page quick, right? There's no time to sit in the locker room and go what happened? You got to turn the page. Every game's so huge right now. Arizona's only 2 back, so this is a huge series coming up. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Arizona. And then they go to Los Angeles to play the Dodgers again. So it's going to be a tough road, and you just can't let the vibe and the momentum get derailed by a couple of boat race losses. But I think it'd be tougher if they lost 3-2 on both days than getting beat like they did. So like I said, I've never seen a more resilient group. I've never seen a group play bad baseball for a good month and a half and then all of a sudden turn it around and play some of the best baseball we've ever seen around here in a long time.
FP, you just mentioned it. It's a huge weekend. It's a huge series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, two teams very much clawing to get into that NL West picture as far as the wild card race is concerned. When you look at the Diamondbacks, Zach Gallen obviously going tonight against the Giants at Chase Field. What do you need to do against this club to at least take 2 of 3 to continue to force the issue?
Well, I mean, pitching and defense has been the key through this whole thing. And then, situational hitting on offense, which they got away from. They couldn't move a leadoff double. They couldn't pick up a runner from third with less than 2 outs. So just keep playing good baseball. I think when you talk to a lot of players that have won championships, they would tell you, and when I was with Ryan Zimmerman in D.C., he would say, like, we're not trying to win tonight. We're just trying to play good baseball. And if we play good baseball, that'll take care of itself. So if you put that enormous amount of pressure that we've come this far, and if we win tonight, we're this, you just got to go pitch to pitch, inning to inning, try to win every pitch, try to win every inning, and play good baseball like they have been. They got to Zach Gallen a little bit last time, but we'll see how this matches up. It's a good place to hit. You guys know that. It's a good place to rake in Arizona. So the bats have been stymied a little bit the last couple of days, but they face some pretty good Dodger pitching.
FP, can they really do this? Because, I mean, I'll be honest, the Giants are a 500 team for me. They've been 500 for the last 500 games. They're 250 and 250, okay? So can they get into the postseason with where they're at? I know they're a game and a half behind. I always look at the loss column, as you know. The loss column is what really matters. They're really a game back. But are they a good enough team to – and I hate to say this but do they deserve to make the playoffs? I mean, as a team that – where they're at right now, and I know it doesn't matter your record, but they're 75 and 74. So if they finish 84 and 78 and they make the playoffs, are Giants fans going to be like, oh, what a hell of a year, and then they lose in the wild card round to the Dodgers?
I think so, based on where they were this year, and it's not where they are right now or where their record was. They were 7-8 games out of this thing about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and all of a sudden, because the Mets have faltered and they can't win all of a sudden, even though they won yesterday. There's excitement in the fan base. There's excitement around the team, and it's the system, AJ. Like when the third wild card came out, I was like, well, when I was in Oakland, we were 102 and 60. And we were the wild card when there was only one wild card because the Mariners won 116 games. And when this third wild card first came out, I was totally against it. I'm like, you're going to have a 500 team make the playoffs. But like when you're in the middle of it and you were left for dead a couple of months ago and playing bad baseball, and all of a sudden you're playing great baseball and you have momentum, you guys both know it's the team that gets hot toward the end that wins it. It's not the team. How many times have we seen a team win 107 games and they're out in the first round? So if they can reload here and stay hot, I think the record's irrelevant getting into the postseason. You got momentum. And then everybody gets tight in those short series, right? The teams that won 100, I mean, we've seen the Dodgers do it. We've seen the Astros do it. We've seen a lot of teams that have had these great regular seasons. Even the Mariners, when they won 116 games, they didn't win the World Series. It's always the team that's hot at the end and the team that's playing playoff games for a month. And then you just get to the playoffs and it's just another game because you've been playing, in essence, playoff games to get into the playoffs. And you've already had these high pressure situations where you're every ground ball, every ball strike, just like the playoffs. And you get in there and you just keep doing what you're doing. And maybe the teams that have cruised and have won, they take a deep breath, they start to go spring training mode, and then all of a sudden you get those days off and you got to gear up in the playoffs, and it's just not there. So yeah, I honestly, AJ, I get your point that like now we're having 500 teams get to the playoffs, but I just think it's how you're playing late that matters most, not the actual overall record.
Did they sell too soon? I know this is you can't question Buster Posey because Buster walks on water, but that's the reality of the situation. Did they sell too soon? Could they have used a closer while Walker's done great and Duvall was, up and down, good, bad, who knows what you're going to get? Did they sell too soon?
I would say no, because they played better after the trade deadline. I mean, so how can you argue with the moves that were made? And Jordan Hicks hasn't done well in Boston, and Kyle Harrison just got called up the other day. And you look at, the trade for Buteau for Tyler Rogers, that straight up was a good trade. Then you get Drew Gilbert on top of it from the Mets, who's trying to chase the Mets. The back of the bullpen has been, young guys in big roles. And sometimes, you look at Duran in Philadelphia. That's why I think they're the best team in baseball. You guys know that a closer that comes in and it's just 1, 2, 3 every time. That's such a luxury to have, especially in October. But Ryan Walker has been better lately. He had a hiccup in St. Louis where he had a 2-0 lead, and it was 3-2 before we could all blink an eye. But he was good the other night, and like I said, they're just piecing it together right now at the back end of the bullpen. But as far as selling too early, I think the Devers trade was way before the trade deadline. And when you look at that trade and what they gave up for Rafi Devers, and I know it didn't start out all great, but baseball players are human. There's adjustments coming to the West Coast, new team, new fan base. You still got drama back in Boston. Second team you play is the Red Sox. You're learning a new position. It takes time to adjust when you're a new player in a new city and you've been with one city your whole career. And all of a sudden, he's been contributing big time, and he's the Rafi Devers that the Giants thought they were getting.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to ask you, FP. What has the Devers effect been in San Francisco? And I probably think the Red Sox would like to send Jordan Hicks back to you guys. What's it been like having Rafi there?
It's been great, man. He's so nice to be around every day. He's always got a smile on his face. It kills me that he gets a bad rap and that he has gotten a bad rap. And I know as players, you're supposed to play wherever they want you. But there's ways to handle that with superstar players, right? When you got a guy that's the face of the franchise and all of a sudden you ambush him, maybe you take him out to dinner and have a bottle of wine in a casual setting and tell him, hey, for us to get to the World Series, we're thinking about doing this, and then all of a sudden that thing's has a different ending. But I'm kind of glad how it panned out because it's fun to watch him play every day. He's the only hitter, you guys, in recent memory that every time he comes up when I'm doing a game, I think he's going deep. Like his swing is so violent, and it's unfair expectations. But we all think it when he comes up that he's going to hit a tape measure shot. It hasn't happened recently for him, but man, he's such a threat in the lineup, and I think he's the first real threat offensively that the Giants have had since Barry Bonds, maybe, and that could be a bold statement, but and he's been a pleasure to be around. The guys love him; they're joking with him every day. He has a fantasy football team, and he knows nothing about football. I mean, he's part of it right now, and the guys love him. Drew Gilbert talks about him every single day and what a great teammate he is. In the times I've been around him, he's just smiling all the time, and he's a fun guy to be around.
Rarely can you can trade, let alone at the trade deadline, but in May or June for a superstar bat. And so hats off to Buster for getting Rafi like that. Rarely can you, with 13 games left, call up a 6'7", 240-pound, back-to-back 23 home run, minor league season, super prospect. What outside of San Francisco, because San Francisco, even all of California, knows about Bryce Eldred. But the Giants calling him up at this point, what can national fans expect to see besides an Aaron Judge type of hulking figure in the box?
From the left side, too.
Left-handed.
I think you know who, like, the sneaky guy that I've left out in all this is Dom Smith. Like, I didn't know Dom Smith was Gold Glove quality at first base. And a lot of people with the Giants, our broadcast team, were like, we feel bad. We didn't know he was this good. And then he gives you a great at-bat. He's hitting, I don't know, around 270. He has two strike adjustments where he chokes up, spreads out, and just puts the ball in play. He has been one of the most valuable players for this team since the Giants got him. So he stretches for that ball from Chapman the other night and blows out. And it's going to be like, I think it's a grade 2 hammy. Don't quote me on that, but it's going to be a couple of weeks, and there's only a couple of weeks left in the season. So you have a deficiency from the left side. And, Wilmer's not going to do it every day, and you need a left-handed bat. And I don't know, man, in a pennant race against the Dodgers coming up in Dodger Stadium, but this kid's supposed to be mature beyond his years. And I just watched the videos like you guys do on the internet of his opposite field home. He's pole to pole, line to line with just oppo pop, and he's hitting mammoth tanks in AAA. The one thing he has to, like, and I'm sure he'll be told this by Bob Melvin, is like, hey, this isn't all on you, dude. We just want you to do your thing. We want you to play. But I don't know about the fan base. The fan base is probably thinking, come on, Bryce. We're getting to the playoffs because of you. And I hope he doesn't put that kind of pressure on himself. But he's supposed to be real mature. He's probably going to DH. I haven't watched him play first base. JT Snow, who's a good friend of mine, has gone down there and worked with him in AAA and said he's getting better at first base. But this was a guy growing up that just pitched and DH. He never really played a position. So I would imagine, and I don't know anything, that the Giants are probably just going to have him DH against right-handers and let him do his thing. And hopefully he doesn't put too much pressure on himself and just plays baseball.
FP, what about the dirt? What's going on with the dirt? And listen, by the way, just for Alanna's, we can. Hi, Alanna. I played for the Giants too. Okay, but
Alana's disgusted with me right now with all the orange and black.
I know, right? I know. She hates me now because I have a Giants bobblehead of myself too. So it's fair. It's fair. All good, FP. But what's going on with the dirt at third base? Matt Chapman's calling out the groundskeeper, and does he not know how to slide? Because he keeps getting like these holes in his hand. What the heck is going on with the dirt over there? I always thought San Francisco, heck, anywhere in California, the field was always perfect.
Yeah, man, every time he dives, he's got these like quarter scabs on both hands. The other night he dove for a ball and he was like patting his pants with it, AJ, and there's blood all over his pants. And this has happened like 6 or 7 times to him this year. And it's always at home. And I don't know anything about being a groundskeeper. It looks like one of the better playing surfaces in all of baseball. But when your third baseman's a platinum glover and one of the best defenders in all of baseball in any position, and I don't want to get in the middle of any controversy, but you shouldn't cut your hands at the big leagues when you dive, right? That's like A ball, or maybe even in like Legion ball when you're playing on tough fields. That I don't know. I never dove and broke my hands open consistently on dirt. And I do some fantasy batting practices there in the mornings where say a corporation will buy out Oracle Park and we put a pitching machine on the mound and everybody takes batting practice. And the old washed up Giants go out there in their uniforms and we shag with them. The field seems sometimes a little bit hard. And I know that they've had concerts and they've had soccer games, but yesterday they poured a bunch more dirt on there. I guess there's something called conditioner with the dirt. If you see Susan Slusser's article in the Chronicle, and they tried to like put softer dirt on there. But yeah, I mean, obviously he was frustrated enough to go public with it. And when a platinum glover speaks, I think you got to listen, right?
Yeah. By the way, I want you to look at my hands. See, there's nothing. Well, it's a hamate scar, but there's no other holes because I wasn't fast enough to dive. So I always had to slide feet first. So I don't even know where this would come from. Plus, I never played the infield, but I don't know. I've never heard of this. And I mean, again, I played there. It was a long time ago, but I always thought the grounds were wet and moist and just the way most guys like it.
Yeah, well, apparently, according to Matt, it's not that way. We used to get those. We used to get those in Montreal on the turf, right? You go flying for a ball in the gap, and you lay it, and then you get the turf burns on your hands, where it's like it's blisters, and your elbows are scraped, and then everyone's been spitting tobacco juice on the turf, and you got to worry about staph infection. And you go in the trainer with scabs. But yeah, man, this was out of nowhere, but. I can't swear on this because I was told not to, but he dove for that ball the other night and they zoomed in on his face and he said, "Un-effing believable." And while he was looking at both of his hands. So obviously this frustrated him enough that he felt like, he needed to open up about it. But there's only like 6 home games left. He'll be all right.
Let's get some shag carpet out there over by third base. Let me ask you this before I let you go there, FP. Is Buster in the clubhouse a lot? Is he more of a president of baseball ops, or is he a guy that is not that far removed from being behind the plate?
No, he's there. He goes on road trips. I think he's in the dugout for batting practice. I'm not sure about the clubhouse thing because I get there on the lazy bus at 4:00 with the broadcasters. But so he used to call everybody out. He'd say, "Oh, lazy bus is here," when the 4:00 bus and players got off it. But that's the broadcaster bus, right? But I've rode in with him a couple of times. He's around, man, and I think that's really cool. And he showed face when the team was playing poorly. You could just you could just hide when the team's playing bad. But he's been there. He's talking to guys. He's really involved. And this isn't me just kissing Buster Posey's ass. Like the first year as a president of baseball operations, he's done a really good job of just sitting back, watching everything unfold, taking notes, being very humble, asking questions, trying to learn. And I would think after this year, he's done his homework. But if you come in as a new president of baseball operations and you're firing this guy and DFA and this guy and the music and then this and you're changing everything, now all of a sudden, that's not good leadership. But the trades that he's done, signing Rafi Devers, when you talk about, getting the 2 guys from the Mets and then the kid in AAA that's supposed to be good, that's arms barking right now, and the catcher they got for Camilo Doval in AAA is supposed to be really good too. So all in all, the way he's handled everything and the way he's been present when things aren't going well and not like a front runner. Well, all of a sudden you're playing well, like here I am. And he's had conversations with coaches and players. He's involved just the right amount. And he's really learning on the job and learning on the fly. And to me, that's what good leadership is.
FP, how much weight has he lost? Because I saw him this year. He looks like he never played baseball. I'm like, Buster, you've lost. What happened? He's lost like 20, 30 pounds from not playing. He looks amazing. Don't get me wrong.
He does look good.
I was like, whoa. I'm like, is this what being in the front office does to you? Sign me up.
No, he was like that before he became president of baseball ops. Him and Barry, they're reverse aging. Every time you see him, they look younger. Barry's skinny too. Have fun with that.
I love Barry. Listen, I love Barry. So I have no look what else I have here just for Alanna. I have a Barry Bonds bobblehead. Hi, Alanna. I hit a lot of homers off you in your Dodgers territory hat.
Dude, Barry was in the cage the other day, and Joe Montana was coming to the field, and he's like my all-time hero, favorite athlete. My daughter's name is Summer Joe Santangelo after Joe Montana. Aww. And so I've never met him. I've interviewed him on KMBR before, but I've never met him. So I was like, dude, I fanboyed so hard. And so I told Barry he was coming, and Barry called Joe Montana, and they were talking right in front of me about, oh, you didn't tell me you were coming today, blah, blah, blah. And then they hung up, and I'm like, that was like such a power call. Barry Bonds talking to Joe Montana right in front of me. And then I finally met him before the game, and I think I blacked out and said something stupid, but it was really cool. It was really cool to meet my hero and my favorite athlete ever this weekend, and he was at the ballpark. So
that is very, very cool. Who's the coolest person in your phone, FP? It's obviously not Joe Montana.
I would say Barry, probably. I guess. I mean, I could maybe. Yeah, maybe a Supreme Court justice, but you know, when you're in D.C., you meet all the politicians and all that stuff too. So
yes. Well, FP, good luck. It'll be interesting to see if the Giants can make this run, get into the postseason. We appreciate the information. As much as you're a Giant fan, my friend, I still like you. Appreciate the time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on. I'm gonna wear eye black next time, and I'll be all set.
Perfect. And it has to be backwards hat. In order to be on this show, you have to have the backwards hat.
All right. I'll see you guys. Take care. Thanks for having me on.
All right. We're getting lost in the weeds next. Coming up, talking about the road to the playoffs. Foul territory rolls on.
We are longtime fans of Omaha Steaks, and I am drooling looking at the website right now, featuring USDA certified tender steaks, and also during their Red Hot Sale event going on right now this fall, 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus for the FT fam, an extra $35 off with promo code FOUL at checkout. You've been a big fan of Omaha Steaks since your early days as a pro.
Brings me back to my low A-ball days, because we used to survive on this. We get a big order at the beginning of the year, cook them on our little electric grill, a can of peas, some mac and cheese. That was dinner for 4. We survived off Omaha Steaks. It still has a special place in my heart.
You thrived.
Well,
you guys ate like kings.
Yeah.
That's special. Get fired up for fall grilling with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide during their Red Hot Sale event. And for an extra $35 off, promo code FOUL at checkout. 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with promo code FOUL at checkout. See site for details. Dig in.
All right, guys, this just in. The Angels stink. Sam Blum tweeted, the Angels today eliminated from AL West contention, got swept in 4 games, clinched 10th straight season without a winning record, struck out 18 times and 62 times over the series, used their 6th position player of the season as a pitcher. It is a bad product. AJ Pierzynski, you cannot continue to do the same things and expect different results. That is the definition of insanity. That is the Angels.
What did Dennis Green say in Arizona? We
are who we thought we were. Yeah, we are who we thought we were. Yeah, or whatever.
So that's pretty much what they are with the Angels. They don't sign pitchers. They don't make smart moves. They kind of go on a whim. There's not a lot of continuity there. And I feel bad for Perry Manasian. He seems like a really good GM and what he does, and he's trying, but sometimes he gets overruled. And, I mean, Ron Washington goes out this year. Mike Trout isn't having the best year. Joe Adell's been a bright spot for him. I'll say that. Shanwell, Neto, and Adell, that's a pretty good little threesome to start your team with there. I don't know. It's the Angels. They haven't been good for so long now. It's like, what do you do?
Move the team? Sell the team?
Well, that's not happening. We've seen that. Owners aren't selling because they know they have all the answers. But maybe now they have that young position player core that Artie Moreno loves, and he'll be like, hey, sure, you can go and get this pitcher for the offseason. Maybe? I don't know. Like, I see him, like, signing, like, a Framber Valdez or something because Artie Moreno's like, well, I saw him pitch good against us.
You don't want Framber, trust me.
No.
In the weeds, 2 weeks left in the regular season. Which MLB contenders, AJ Pierzynski, have the toughest road to the playoffs? Breaking down the schedules, part 3. This from The Athletic, Stephen Nesbitt and Chad Jennings with a article in The Athletic. What do you think? Which team's playoffs chances are we following the closest? Who has the toughest road, AJ, in your opinion?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I'm looking at these, and the one that stands out to me is I know Seattle ends at home, but they got to go east of Spokane the next 6 games, and they go to Kansas City, who's still alive in the playoffs, and they got to go to Houston, which obviously is still alive in the postseason. So then where they stand after this next week, that's the key for me. Just how do they survive? I mean, they get the Rockies, but then they ended the Dodgers, and those Dodgers games could possibly still mean something. So to me, it's Seattle, just because they have to go on the road. And they don't do very well on the road. Again, like I said, east of Spokane. If they have to get to, like, Idaho, they're in trouble.
What do you think, EK? Is it Seattle? Is it Houston? I mean, Seattle has the worst schedule all year just because of distance and all of the length of travel. But what do you think in terms of who they have left?
Yes, I think they definitely have some tough teams left. I don't think the Royals are playing very well, so the Mariners – maybe have an easy transition into this road trip for them. But I think Houston's just not playing this unbelievable style of baseball right now that I think we're accustomed to, where it's like, okay, we're going to just put our foot on the gas and make the playoffs, win the division, and do what we always do every year in October. I really think if you're talking from today on, I think the Astros have the tougher road because right now, when it's close, that's when you want to play the easy teams. So you can maybe make some separation or make up ground. It is when you gain some ground on the Rangers. Maybe the Mariners lose, and then you gain some ground on them. But you're sitting there and you go, whew, pressure's on right now. Like, we got to get going. You want to play you always want to play the easier teams. You always want to play at home. I do believe it is Seattle, but I can see how you would say, hey, Houston's in a rough spot right now. They haven't been playing well. Seattle has been winning, but it was at home. So do they know the confidence that we don't have in them on the road? Who knows?
Let me ask you this. So the Astros playoff chances right now, 72.6%. The key series, as we've discussed, September 15th, that's today, through the 21st versus Texas and Seattle. Which team below, you guys, do we think is too high or too low? If you're looking at the playoff chances for certain teams, the Mets playoff chances, 80.1%. Astros playoff chances, 72.6%. Red Sox, 90.4%. Mariners, 96.4%. Yankees, 99.4%. They're basically in, right? Giants playoff chances, 9.7%. Guardians playoff chances, 11.3%. Who's too high? Who's too low? Let me know if I need to repeat those percentage.
I think they're about right. I don't think there's one because I don't think the Giants are getting in. I don't think the Guardians are getting in. I think 11.3 for the Guardians is too high. I think even almost 10% for the Giants is too high just because the Mets just went through the bottom of the bottom, and I feel like they're going to win some games down the stretch here. I mean, I know it's crazy to say that because of the way they've been playing, but every team goes through ups and downs, and the Mets just went through it, and that win yesterday was huge for them. So I think the Red Sox are in. I think the Yankees are in. I think the Mariners are in. I think the Astros are in. And so I think the Mets are. So I think these are about right. I can't say that any are too high. If anything, some of the teams outside looking in is too high.
I think the Astros. I think the Astros at 72% is too low. I think they have a much higher percentage chance. We just talked about who has the toughest road, and I said the Astros, yes, but they control their own destiny. So to me, I feel like the Astros just figure out how to win. So I feel like that number, if the Mets, who have been just going through it and have no pitching, can be at 80%, I feel like the Astros should be more like an 80 or 85%. I think the playoffs are set. I think the teams are set, but it's good fodder to talk about here on the show.
What do you think is more unlikely? The Mets playoff chances at 80.1. I think that's too high. But I get your point that they've just gone through a horrible lull. They're bound to bounce back at some point. Or the Guardians at 11 point. The Guardians weren't even in my periphery. There's no way the Guardians are making the postseason. But I don't think the Mets are either.
You don't think the Mets are going to make it?
I don't.
So who do you think is going to make it over them?
I don't know. I could see the Giants or the Diamondbacks moving in.
Really?
I think all three are teams that are just poo-poo. Kind of like what I said about the Blue Jays losing the American League East. I just don't see how the other two teams below them, the Red Sox and Yankees, have enough to overtake them. I don't see how the Giants. To me, I thought the team that had the chance was the Reds. To knock the Mets out because they had that tiebreaker. Had they finished the season, because that tiebreaker is huge. It's essentially like a 3-game lead or a 2-game lead instead of a 3-game lead. And I thought if they stayed in it, I think they're 2.5 now. It's too much. I think it's too much. I just don't. So you think the Mets don't make it? Wow, that would be. We would have something to talk about.
You know what's insane though? I don't think the Mets make it, and I didn't think the Yankees were going to make it. Obviously, I'm probably pretty wrong about the Yankees, considering the Yankees' playoff chances are now 99.4%. But I did not think 2 weeks ago the Yankees were going to make it. Just goes to show you what I know. All right, Pete Fairbanks is coming up on the show, gentlemen. We're talking all things with him. And we're also talking Legos, which is incredibly important, I understand, in his world and in AJ Pierzynski's world. We're going to be right back with Rays pitcher and Lego connoisseur, Pete Fairbanks, joining Foul.
Lord Business.
All right, Katie Woo does a great job covering the Cardinals. You can catch them also on Foul Territory with Cardinals Territory. Masyn Winn thanked the training staff for allowing him to play through a meniscus tear. Eek, he likely suffered months ago. They could have shut me down 3 or 4 months ago, but they let me go out there and play. That's all I asked for. His season is over, guys, which is a bummer. Ollie Marmol announcing that, but just the thought of that, playing through a meniscus tear, seems ouch. Thoughts?
I think a lot of guys.
What a great year he had, actually. And they were super proud of how awesome he had of a year. By the way, do you guys know how many errors he made on the whole year? The whole
0.
year without looking. How many errors did Masyn Winn playing 130 games at shortstop this year?
3.
0.
You knew that off the top of your head, Kratz?
Yeah, I didn't. I just guessed 3.
He made 3. 3 errors for the whole year playing shortstop every day. 3. So that's a credit to him and the Cardinals coaching staff and how much he's improved. 3 errors at shortstop all year with a torn meniscus. Pretty impressive.
It's impressive because I know I got a call from a player the other day who was being shut down by his team who is going to make the playoffs. And he was like, I don't want to be shut down. I want to make it back. I can make it back with 1 week to play. And he was like, what do you think he said, what do you think I should do? I was like, well, you can get a second opinion. I said, you can tell them you can play, but there are teams that don't allow this. So for Masyn Winn to understand that and appreciate that and say that about his training staff, it's a lot. For a young guy to say that and understand that, that is huge. And for a young guy to come out and say that he played through injury, pain, whatever it was, also huge.
Can a player fight though, EK, to get on that postseason roster if the team's like you're not playing? I mean, what is his right there?
You can fight. You can fight for it. You can say I want to, and you can start your throwing progression. You can start your hitting progression, whatever it is. But ultimately, I don't know what the rule is, but they ultimately say, well, no, you're not active yet. So I don't know.
Has that ever happened to you guys where you were making a postseason roster? We'll discuss this apparently later.
Never seen it before.
Pete Fairbanks, he's next. As promised, there he is. Pete Fairbanks, welcome back to the show. Friend of the program, of course. I understand, sir, that you are quite the Lego connoisseur. For those of us not caught up on this, tell us more.
Well, yeah, as you can, this more of my son right now. I had to steal his room. My in-laws and dad are both in town, so they've taken up most of my house. But I decided, in a bit of shameless pandering for AJ, that we would go set my backdrop as all of my son's half torn down Lego sets.
Well, before we get into Legos, first of all, what is that hat you have on? Because I don't know
What's
if you
going
just
on?
made that, if your son made that for you in kindergarten or what. But what? I
No,
don't know
this
what.
is it's my Western Hydrodynamic Research hat. Found it in Toronto a couple years ago. They use a little bungee cord as the I don't know what you technically call that. Instead of a snapback, it's an elastic back, but it's still got a hole in it.
Okay, and then my next question is, before we get into the Rays, how do you say the name on your shirt? Because I've had arguments with this many people. The name on your shirt, how do you say it?
You say it as Kith.
Are you sure?
Well, how do you say it?
I used to say Kith, and now I've been told it's Kite from numerous
Oh,
people.
well, maybe it is. I'm not a New Yorker, so maybe I got it wrong.
I don't know. I've
AJ's
been
not
told.
either.
Well,
Who are
except I
your
was born there.
sources?
My sources are people that are in the fashion world. Alanna.
All right, well,
No, I'm definitely not. I don't even know what that is. For Kite, I don't know.
I don't know, because I've heard it said both ways. My son calls it Kith, and then I was talking about that. I don't know who, it was somebody along the way, and they were like, "No, it's actually Kite," and I was like, "Oh, which one is it?"
Is this a brand? I mean, that's how dumb I am.
It's a very popular brand with teenagers to like college age, like 15 to 30-year-olds. It's actually an unbelievable store in New York if you go there.
That's not my bracket.
They've got a pretty good store. I don't know. Maybe it's a tomato. Maybe it's a tomato type situation, and it's how I made fun of my mother for saying Missouri when I say Missouri. Maybe it's one of those deals.
All right, here it goes. The brand name Kith is pronounced Kith with a short I sound like in kit and a hard TH sound like in think or thin. There you have it.
There you have it. Okay.
How you doing, Pete? You're welcome.
I'm great. I want to know if the Kith pronunciation was created by somebody that wanted to sound way more posh than they actually were.
Probably.
That's the only thing
was. I forget who it was.
Think of on that.
Since everyone's taking shots at Ken Rosenthal, we'll just blame him today. How's that? We'll just blame Ken Rosenthal today.
Poor guy. Caminero, talk about it, Pete. Caminero, a bright spot of your club, coming in hot.
Yeah, homers. Lots of homers on every pitch type in just about every location. And he will find a way to put it out of the yard. I think he hit a Porter Hodge heater and then followed that up with a down and away splitter the next day. I mean, the guy's covering it all. And when you can cover it all and, swing it what doesn't seem like 100% and still hit a ball at 110 miles an hour, I think he's doing something right.
Why does the national media not know more about Junior Caminero? Because you guys were as close as 2 games out of the wild card race, and this dude's just hit his 44th homer. He's got over 100 stakes, and he's young. It's not like he's like a mid to late 20s kind of in the prime. He is not a rookie, but why does the national media not know more about him?
Well, if I had to hazard a guess, I would say it's because we don't play in a giant media market. And, you know, as as the world works, the people that play in the bigger markets are going to get the coverage, right? That's what drives it. And, we might be at victim to that at times, but I think the people that love and appreciate the game of baseball are all over Junior Caminero.
Hey, Pete, what's it like in Steinbrenner? Are you used to the schedule now? Are you used to the schedule because you guys played all the home games early and then you've been on the road for the last 3 months? You do have a home series now against the Jays, but has it been different for you guys playing most of the second half on the road?
Yeah, I mean the 3 week or three not 3 week felt like 3 weeks. The 16-day or whatever it was, roadie was crazy. But we kind of settled back into a fairly normal schedule to where it's a week at home or 10 days at home, 10 days on the road, et cetera. So we've kind of settled back into your normal baseball schedule, and we're hoping that this rumored cold front here is going to stick around for a couple more days.
Mr. Fairbanks, Pepio is returning from body fatigue. I mean, I have that every day and I don't pitch. Can you please explain to me what body fatigue is and how that works its way into a pitcher's repertoire at this point in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have body fatigue, right? I think that there's just a point where, you know, to push it out there and try and throw 85 to 100 pitches when you're already, run down past your normal recovery point would be a detriment to both yourself and, being, the good teammate that Pep is. I think the call to, skip a start, let the body get back to what it normally is and not have to, worry if each, pitch was going to cost him, more than it needed to, I think is a very wise choice. And, we're excited to have him back, I think tomorrow or the next day at full strength. But yeah, you get tired. It's a long season. There are a lot of games, and, sometimes you don't recover as well as you do other times.
When you watch across the American League East and you see what Aroldis Chapman is doing as a closer, not just for this season, but you've spent the majority of your career as a closer. He's almost only been a closer. Do you look at those adjustments and you say, wow, I have so much more in the tank for myself because I've essentially just been in the recent years a closer and those guys are taken care of a little bit differently?
Yeah, I mean, I think it speaks to him and his willingness to, adapt, right? Like, obviously, he's still the most elite velocity arm that the game has seen. But, to watch him dial it in really with, the fastball command and then throwing both the splitter and the slider, throwing two fastballs, et cetera. Yeah, just the watch how he's taken care of himself and been able to adapt and tweak the repertoire has been, I mean, amazing. He's been doing it for like 13 years at this point, something like that.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Pete, you closed out the game on Saturday, all right, against the Cubs. It wasn't the easiest game you've ever closed out. There was some kookiness in there, but I want to tell you the story. I was sitting in Pat Murphy's office. He had your game on. It was first and third, no outs. I think you had a 1-run lead, and Pat Murphy just looks up and goes, "This son of a gun is going to blow this game, isn't he?" And I'm like, "Nah, have faith in Pete, okay, Pat? Calm down." And then you got out of it, and you got the save. How nervous do you get when things start going like that? Do you get nervous? Does your mind start going crazy? Or how do you keep calm?
I mean, in that instance, I think I kind of sabotaged myself because I got distracted watching us try and tack on an insurance run with the TV sitting there right in the Wrigley bullpen, then finishing my last couple. Um, but yeah, I mean, Dansby had a great at bat, right? And as you try harder and harder through an at bat, you kind of can get outside yourself. But we had a good visit from Snides, was able to execute a few to Shaw and watch a great rundown get executed by Cammy and Mr. Fortes behind the dish. And then, I mean, shout out to his shin guards that can't seem to stay together because it gave me, another couple breaths. And then we really started executing after that.
Wait, are you suggesting that Nick Fortes his shin guards didn't stay together, or was that all above water?
Oh, they definitely broke because he is
Okay.
fast. He's very fast.
He is fast.
And he also,
yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen a catcher hawk down somebody like that. I don't know if ever. But yeah, he was, I mean, a great 3-step off the blocks and hawked him down pretty quick.
You talked about being nervous, or AJ asked you about being nervous. You talked about family being in the house right now. Who of your family or friends gets the most nervous when you come in the game? Because when I played, I know the wives of relievers would show up late, and if their husband was down, they wouldn't even show up to the game at all, where the position player wives are like, oh, I got to keep coming to all these games. Who gets the most nervous of your family or friends when you're in those situations?
I got to say my grandmother, because so my grandparents, my dad's parents are retired. They live in Arizona. And my grandpa watches every game he's probably watched every inning I've ever thrown at any level, regardless of professional, amateur, etc. But my grandmother will not watch and will wait until it's over. And my grandpa goes and tells her how things went before she will then go and watch it, because she's too nervous, anxious, whatever, to actually watch it as it's happening.
That's cute. It was very cute. All right. So you guys have a big series against the Blue Jays. Pete, if you guys win this series, it could make things a little kookier than what they already are. What are you playing for right now? What are you guys pitching for? What are you playing for?
I'm playing to win today and then win tomorrow and win the next day and keep on winning, right? I think, and that's been kind of what I've said at any opportunity, right? Is that we're not, I think the times where we have gotten big picture and kind of gotten out of, focusing on let's do what our job is today. I think that lends itself to a view that, things can spiral on you if you're, not being where your feet are and really doing your best to control the things that you can, right? So we're going to go out there and we're going to, continue to try and play, the game that we play well, and, the chips are going to fall where they do. Things are going to happen however they may, but our job is to focus on what we can do to win the game that day, and not get a week ahead or 2 weeks ahead, etc. But to just be where we are and try and go win some ball games.
I'm going to give you a bigger picture question because you're right in it now. How much better or worse would it be right now if there was 2 or 3 more playoff spots? If 2 or 3 more teams would be getting in, how close you guys were, how much would it water it down? Or would you be like, man, that's what we need? Because as a player, you're in it and you're giving everything you have every single day. And as a fan, you go, well, should this team be in? Should that team be in? How do you feel about it being in the spot right now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, right? There's the positives and negatives to both sides of, an even more expanded field versus, kind of some of the historical races that, you see, like the 2011 Rays, right? With that 3-team one that went down, even when there was just one wild card spot. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a double-edged type of thing, of you don't want to incentivize being at, 500 but making the playoffs, but you also, especially in, a sport like baseball, which is kind of, I'd say, similar to, I don't know, maybe hockey, in terms of how the luck distribution can play out in it, where you might see, teams that you wouldn't expect make deep runs that, snuck in at 84 and 80 or 85 and 79.
Can you guys be that team? You got some time left. I want to know before we let you go. Can you guys be that team? Get
I
hot.
don't see why not. We've had as hot as hots and as cold as colds. So yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason that we don't have the capabilities to roll off 9 in a row. Obviously, we didn't set ourselves up in a great spot to not have to do that. But like I said, we're going to try and win on Monday night and then see where we go from there.
Have you seen Kevin Cash get pissed during the coldest of colds? Or is he the quintessential same guy every single day?
Now, Cash is pretty much Cash, regardless of being in the midst of a 10-game heater or 5 in a row on the wrong side. It's you're going to get what you get, and there's not a whole lot of deviation in that.
All right, before we let you go, there's a lot of guys in the big leagues that are into Legos, okay? Myself included. But since we talked about your shirt and we talked about your hat, rate this outfit on a 1 to 10 basis that we're about to show you.
That's pretty good. I wish you had done wasn't the one where he ends up on like the giant pillar underneath him. I mean, maybe that's the only thing that could have been better out of that. I mean, that's pretty good. Did you have a Traggle with you too, or was it just
my son had it on his back? He had the piece of de resistance.
Is that the
You can't
piece?
see it.
Okay.
That was a long time ago. But yes, and by the way, I made that hat by myself. So
Out
I
of
cut it
Legos
out
or
and made
out
it
of
by
Legos or
myself.
no?
No, out of paper or poster board or whatever it was. I don't know what
I
it was,
mean,
but it had to be able to be wearable. It had to be
maybe
wearable.
that's what's keeping it from being a 10.
Oh, that's brutal. That's brutal. That's brutal. I'm just saying, like, until you get a Halloween costume better than that, and then rest of my family was also, that's the only picture I had. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty good Halloween costume. Thank God I played for the Cardinals because I had a red helmet to put underneath that thing to hold
Put
it
it
on.
all on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than any of the costumes I've rolled out there. So it's at least an 8.
That was when I had too much time on my hands.
Like you don't now?
Some of us work for a living, Alanna. You should try it.
Oh, okay. I work for 4 networks. Okay, fine. Pete, good luck for the rest of the season, my friend. Good to have you on. As always, we appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, great to see you, Pete, as always. All right, coming up, we're talking BetMGM stuff. We appreciate you guys very much. As always, for being with us. Good luck the rest of the season. Hot Corner next. All right, Baltimore versus the Chicago White Sox. It is a barn burner, everybody. 7:40 p.m. Eastern. It's the MLB free game of the day, streaming on the BetMGM app. Live streaming is available to all BetMGM customers who are logged in and have funded accounts. Appreciate BetMGM being a part of our show, as always. Let's take a look at our Friday locks. It was about 50-50 with you guys. Scott, who is traveling the globe, he missed. Looks like the Todd Father hit. It looks like Erik Kratz, good job. Pap did not make it, but that's okay. So let's talk about money bags today, guys. I'm down 270, which is really unfair because I'm not on the show a ton, so I don't really have an opportunity to get back up. Scott is up about $100. Todd Frazier's up a lot, 1320. Erik, you're down a lot, 1102. AJ, not bad. You're down about $31, and Pap is up 320, everybody. So good job for those that are up. So there you have it. Time now. Do you guys want to talk about this at all? You feeling good about your bets? What are we doing?
Yeah, I feel good. Anytime I got a green check, I feel good. I was down way more, so I'm going to come back trail. Thanks to producer lady who was too busy today, but she got my pick last week, so well done. If I would have lost that pick, I would have taken 100% the ownership on another loss for myself, but producer lady, great job.
Her name is Claudia. What is your lock of the day, EK?
Producer lady was too busy because she is a lot busier than AJ. So she clearly wants to make sure everybody knows that. I'm going over punch outs. We got 5.5 for Kyle Bradish. He's been pretty consistent in his 3 starts back. against the White Sox, and they're giving me 5.5 punch out. So I'm going over at plus 110.
Okay. And what about you, AJ Pierzynski? What is your lock of the day on this fine Monday?
That I'll do a chore today and not post it because producer lady thinks I don't do anything all day because I was doing chores and I posted a couple, so she thinks I do nothing all day. But my lock today,
are we talking about like household chores or like work related chores? Like is
household chores
a chore or
like household chores?
Okay.
He killed bees.
Like what types of chores do you do?
I fix the fountain. I mean, you name it, I do stuff. I do a lot of stuff, Alanna, around the house. Every day there's something I have to do.
Yep, the honeydew list. I get it. When you did post about how to get rid of the spiders, I said just burn the house to the damn ground. But you figured out a way to do it better than that. All right.
They're back, though. They won't go away. You can't get rid of those things.
Ugh. No, that's a cockroach. Guys, how much of a difference does it make that the Mets actually snapped that losing streak? Does that catapult them into some positivity, AJ?
I said it. I said that was a huge win for them. They won. No. They're still in place to make the postseason. I think that was a huge win for them. I think they're going to be better now. Listen, it goes like this. It goes like this. It goes like this. They've been down. I think they're going to figure out a way to turn it around here, and I think they're going to get in. I still think they're going to get in, even though Alanna, you're betting against them. I'm not.
I am betting against them, but I'm never right. So, I mean, the Mets hold the tiebreaker over San Fran, Erik, but not over the Reds, who lurk, easy for me to say, 2.5 games back. The D-backs jumped the Reds with their win over the Twins on Sunday. They remain 2 games back of the Mets. I don't know. I guess I'd just rather see the Diamondbacks in than the Mets, whatever. But they're getting in. In order in what you're saying, correct, EK? I mean, here's the National League wildcard standings. I'd like to see Arizona in. I don't know. It is what it is. Maybe I'm an NL West girl.
I do believe they will get in. I think it's awesome that we have this discussion. 3 teams within striking distance. I think the other teams are just too flawed to get there. I think had the Diamondbacks not gotten rid of Eugenio Suarez and Josh Naylor, maybe they would catch them. I think if there's a team that I think could catch them there, it would be the Diamondbacks. But yes, this is huge. They had lost 8 in a row. Edwin Diaz was in and he gave up runs. And you're like, oh my gosh, we're going to lose. We got an off day tomorrow. We're going to lose another game. We're going to lose 9 in a row. And then we have to sit at home thinking about it the whole time. Yes, it was huge. It was huge. But the problem still looms. Besides Nolan McLean, who else is going to pitch well for him? Besides Edwin Diaz, who else is going to pitch well for him? You almost can't use Ryan Helsley, and every game from here on out is a do-or-die game. So, yes, I'm still worried about the Mets, but I agree with AJ. I think they're going to get in. I just think it is too much to get past them right now for the Giants, for the Reds, who are 2.5 back. I know the tiebreaker's there, but it's tough. The Mets would have to come out and really keep crap into bed.
So if the Mets get in, do they completely reset and all of a sudden they become dangerous? Or are they equally as weak as they limp into the postseason? Will they be equally as weak in the playoffs?
Well, not if their pitching doesn't get better.
Right.
Not if their pitching doesn't get better than what it's been. They can limp in all they want, but you're only as dangerous as your pitching and your hitting is. And right now their hitting has been okay. It hasn't been great. It's been far from great, but their pitching has been the real story, especially the starters and their bullpen. I mean, Diaz, Helsley, all those guys, Rogers at the back end have not been what they thought. So it's been kind of a mess in Metsland.
If I'm looking at it like just in a very 30,000 foot view kind of thing, they play about a 6 to 7 inning game with their pitching. Their starters go 4 to 5 innings. Then you have Rogers, who has done well, and I think you can trust Diaz. From there, like, you're in the 6th or 7th inning. I know they're not going to go right into those guys, but when you look at the playoffs, you're going your best dude. So you're going Nolan McLean, David Peterson right now. And then you have game 3. And then you have, this is where the Mets have to find some magic. That's what happens in the playoffs, but they have to find magic. They have to find somebody who's going to give them those last 2 innings, whether it's the 5th inning and 6th inning to bridge to 7, 8, 9. You might be able to get Rogers and Diaz might be able to give you 6 outs. But right now, unless this offense, which they have the capability of doing it, just absolutely starts mashing and is hot, red hot going into the playoffs, I have a tough time backing the Mets right now.
Let's assume the Mets get in. Postseason starts tomorrow. 3-game series. Who has the most lethal starting rotation in the National League of the teams that are in?
Oh, the Dodgers. Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Snell. Yeah. I mean, who else would it be? Padres? No.
Phillies and Dodgers.
Phillies are going to have to play a 3-game series, though. So that's
I'm just saying, if it was we're not doing the bracket. I'm just saying of the 3 teams, everyone's in. Of the teams that are in, who has the most lethal?
For me, it's still Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Snell. If they're on proper rest and they're right, I mean, Glasnow has given up like 1 hit in like 20 innings. It's been crazy how good he's been. And Yamamoto has had a great year. We all know what Blake Snell can do, and he's done it in the playoffs. So for me, it's those 3.
Okay. New York
versus. It's even close. I don't think it's even close. I mean, even if Rortvedt doesn't catch. I mean, these guys are they're. I joke about that, but he's done an amazing job back there. Like they are. If there's any type of unit that you're talking about from a team, whether it's pitching, starting pitching, bullpen, or a lineup, I don't think there's a better unit that's getting hot going into the playoffs than the starting rotation, the top end of the starting rotation for the Dodgers.
Well, I like that. Before we go to break really quick.
Here's the thing, Alanna, think about this. Think about this for the 2 wild card matchups right now. 2 of the 4 wild card matchups. Dodgers, Mets, and Yankees, Red Sox.
It's going to be phenomenal.
Right? I mean, how good are those going to be?
That's going to be phenomenal. Speaking of Yankees, Red Sox, you guys, Red Sox, that 6-run first inning yesterday really helped them because they needed everything because the Yankees were working their way back into the game. Yanks won on Saturday, obviously. Crochet, amazing. If those 2 meet up in the postseason, Yankees lost the season series, but it's how good are you playing right now? Who you taking?
Crochet lined up for game 1? Because he's dominated. He's done really well against the Yankees.
You got to figure Crochet, Bayo, Giolito, right? That's starting 3.
Against Fried, Rodon, and Heel?
My guess is yes.
Schlittler over Heel? I think Schlittler is over Heel right now. Just based on his strikeouts and how they rank who is going to be the best. Heel's not racking up the strikeouts, so the Yankees probably would value Schlittler over him.
That's a tough one to say. Don't say that fast. You could get into some trouble. All right, coming up, we are slapping hands next. We'll be right back.
FT Nation, what's up? It's your boy Parlay Pap coming to you on this beautiful Monday. Yeah, we're gonna get some Monday cheese. So here's what I got for you today. I'm taking 2 AL East teams I've been watching for a while. So I got the Yankees against the Twins today. Rodon's gonna deal against the Twins, and I've also got the Blue Jays against the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays don't know who they're starting yet today, so you got to go Blue Jays. In a small spring training park, going to hit some bombs. Look for a high score there. But I am taking the Blue Jays. We're putting 100 on it. We're getting plus money. And we're getting some Monday cheese. Let's go.
All right, AJ, who's your lock of the day? We heard from EK. Who's yours?
Well, I'm taking the Yankees because they're playing the Twins, much like Pat. And I was going to take the Giants, but Alanna hates the Giants so much, so I'm taking the Diamondbacks as a parlay. And that gets me to plus 165.
I mean, it's ingrained in you, right? I mean, it's like you should probably hate the Cubs or the Twins or whatever. I mean, it's fine. It's whatever. All right.
Not the Twins.
Okay, that's fine. I'm taking the money line. Money line plus.
That's me as a twin. Hey, that's me as a twin.
I don't have any of that. I do have Ice Cube, though, during the Dodgers World Series parade. But anyway, I'm taking the money line. Phillies over the Dodgers, plus 100. I just think the Phillies win straight up in that game, even though it is in Los Angeles.
By the way, you just picked against the Dodgers. Did you make that pick, or did someone else?
I made that pick. I did. The Phillies are tough.
She celebrates either way. She celebrates either way. Dodgers win, she celebrates.
What you
Phillies
should do.
win, she's on the board. I like it. I like it, Alanna.
I tell you, it's tough to do, but I do think that the Dodgers, I think the Phillies are good. All right, BetMGM players will receive a pro football same-game parlay boost token. To use the token, add an SGP wager made up of bets from a pro football game to your bet slip and activate the token. If you win your wager that was made with the SGP boost token, you will receive extra winnings and unrestricted bonus dollars. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, time now to slap hands. Don't forget, you guys, check out Baseball America's Hot Sheet today at 3 p.m. on Baseball America's YouTube channel. Anything you want to say as we slap hands before we go out on this fine Monday afternoon?
Happy birthday, Paul Abbott, today, by the way. My first career homer. So, yeah, happy birthday, Paul. Thank you for that, ball down. I could whack out of the park for my first one. You never forget your first one.
You never forget your first one. Well, who was yours, Erik?
Tom Gorzolani. Tried to go in 0-2. Can't go in there. I don't stay in the zone very long. Nope.
All right. How many career home runs did you have, Kratzy?
31.
31. And AJ?
100 and I don't even know. 100 around 100. I was just short of 200, so it was like 190 or 185 at 200. I don't know.
Oh,
I guess it's 186.
I don't know.
Can somebody fact check that?
Sure, somebody will.
Right.
Somewhere around there. It was around 190. It was short of 200. I know that.
I'm proud of you. You've had a great career. By the way, Baseball America's Hot Sheet is at 3:30 p.m. today on Baseball America's YouTube channel. Thanks. Oh, it's 188. 188. Good job. Oh, I love your hat. Let me see, Kratz. What you got there? Is that a Mariners one?
Mariners hat. I mean, you have to wear it. The Mariners are in first place. Like, you got to kind of celebrate it when it happens.
But that is a beautiful color. I like that teal on you. It goes with your eyes. I have no idea what color your eyes are, but we're just going to say it goes with your eyes. All right, guys, have a good day. We'll be back tomorrow. We appreciate you for all of our guests. We'll see you then.